Zuckerberg's decision not to sell Facebook to early bidders has become legend in Silicon Valley. After he rejected a bid from Viacom, Yahoo offered to buy Facebook for $1 billion in the summer of 2006. But when Yahoo stock fell more than 20% after a disappointing earnings report that July, Yahoo reduced its offer and Facebook again walked away from a deal. Dan Rosensweig was the chief operating officer of Yahoo at the time and was directly involved in negotiations with Mark Zuckerberg. He is currently the CEO of Chegg.com and joins me now from Mountain View, California. So Dan, clearly neither of you nor Mark Zuckerberg knew that Facebook could be worth more than $100 billion. But when you met him, Facebook only had 4 million users. What did you see that you knew it could be something so much bigger?
Well, I had a chance to meet Mark, I think, when he was 20 years old, and as you said, there were 4 million users. And it was really an interesting moment in time, which is we had Google, who was trying to deportalize the internet. We had Yahoo, who had portalized the internet. And along comes Mark from a different generation with different technology and had a different view of what he was trying to do. So every conversation I had with him had nothing to do with what he was doing, which was connecting college kids on their campus. He always believed that he was building a platform. He couldn't always articulate what that meant, but he always had a view that this was about connecting people to things and other people that they want to be connected to. And it felt inspiring, and he was very clear that he was on a mission at the time, and I think, you know, we've all seen the results of it.
So you were the only guy in the world that got Mark Zuckerberg to at least tentatively agree to sell his company. Then what happened? Give us an idea of what happened in your last meeting or your last conversation together where you decided it wasn't going to happen.
Well, I mean, it was obviously disappointing. You know, we had made the agreement. Mark and I had spent a long time, a year, getting to know each other. He's an amazing guy, an amazing founder, and he was always reluctant. So, but I think when we told him, careful what you wish for, because when he named his price, we gave it to him. And I think at that moment in time, he had said yes. He went back to his board. And then there were different camps inside of Yahoo. Unfortunately, my camp lost, which was was going to be 1/22nd of our value, and thought it was going to be a huge platform, global, thought we could recapture sort of the youth demographic, which had gone over to Google. So I saw a lot of opportunity with it, although, as you pointed out, nobody could see what it's become. But there were others who just felt like it would never get out of the college market, or that Mark was too young. And with the stock dropping the way it did, the naysayers won out, and that's very unfortunate for Yahoo, but obviously really fortunate for Mark.
And at the time, the CEO of Yahoo dropped the price from $1 billion to $850 million. I mean, was there something else going on there? Clearly, you guys could have found the extra $150 million to buy this company. Why did you just not pony it up?
Well, you know, there's a lot of things that go on in boardrooms that shouldn't be shared. But effectively, there were two camps in the company. There was the camp that believed in Mark and in his vision and in Facebook being a platform and not an application. But you also have to remember, out of respect for those that were not as confident, it did only have 4.5 million users and it had zero revenue. So it's a big bite to offer somebody, a 20-year-old kid, $1 billion with a company that had 4.5 million users and no revenue. And so you can imagine that there was some honest conflict between the two. But it really just came down to confidence in the direction of where Mark was taking the company, which I had and others had. But at the end of the day, those that were more conservative won out.
And tomorrow, Facebook could potentially be worth 5 times as much as Yahoo is today. Do you think losing Facebook could have been the beginning of the end for Yahoo, or the beginning of the descent, at least?
Well, I left at the end of 2006, and so when I was there, obviously I felt it would be a big part of what Yahoo should do and its strategy. And the best way I can say it is just look at the numbers. After tomorrow, Mark himself could buy Facebook and still have buy Yahoo and still have a few $1 billion left of his own. So I don't know if it was the beginning of the end, and I'm a big believer that Yahoo has an enormous future. I think people need to leave it alone, and I think they need to. I'm very pleased that they've got a much better board now than they had, and I think they just need to go back to work and investing. But it is remarkable just how quickly things change in Silicon Valley. I mean, we're talking about where Facebook didn't exist 8 years ago, and nobody was really even talking about it even 4 years ago. And here we are today where it's the king of the mountain, and it's pretty exciting.
Well, Yahoo has had now 6 CEOs in the last 5 years, so perhaps the 6th time is the charm. Dan Rosensweig, CEO of Chegg, joining us from Mountain View. Thanks so much for stopping by.